best with defending its established negative idea. And the harder you try to do something, the more the subconscious resists, and the more difficult it becomes. Even the use of the word try is warned against, because it gives the suggestion to the subconscious of a preconceived failure. The concept of trying implies an ongoing effort. You don't want to try. You want to succeed. If you ask your subconscious to help you try, it may do just that. It may help you try, but it will prevent you from succeeding. Because if you did succeed, then it could no longer help you try, which is what you asked it to do. The cautionary note about using the word try is just one example of the care that should be taken when formulating affirmations and using autosuggestion. The following are some other rules of thumb that most modern experts agree on. 1. Affirmations should always be stated as a positive. Affirm what you do want, not what you don't want. 2. Affirmations work best when they are short and very clear about a single desired goal. Take the time to write, rewrite, and polish your affirmation until you can express your desire in a short statement of precise and well-chosen words. 3. Affirmations should be specific about the desired goal, but not about how to accomplish it. Your subconscious knows better than you what it can do and how it can do it. 4. Do not make unreasonable time demands. Your subconscious can't make anything happen suddenly or now. 5. Just saying the words will have little effect. When you affirm your desire, you must do it with such faith and conviction that your subconscious becomes convinced of how important it is to you. As you affirm your desire to yourself, visualize it in your mind's eye as big as a billboard. Make it big, powerful, and memorable. 6. Repetition of your emotionalized affirmation is crucial. At this time, it is your habit to think one way. By repeating your affirmation often every day, your new way of thinking will begin to be your automatic response. Keep reinforcing it until it becomes second nature to you, and your habit will have become to think the new way, the way you want to think. This is the end of the editor's comments. We form habits based on the degree of reinforcement we receive. Habits make no moral judgments. They can be either good or bad. Both are formed through repetition. If we try something and like the results, we repeat the action. You can replace negative thoughts with positive ones. You can replace inaction with action, and you can form any habit you choose. Your thoughts are the only thing that you can completely control if you choose to do so. You can control your thoughts to control your habits. The secret of effective prayer. Most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed, or else they pray by a ritual of meaningless words. And because most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt. Because fear and doubt are the emotions that are mixed with their prayer, these are the emotions the subconscious mind passes on, and these are the emotions that infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. If you pray for a thing, but as you pray you have fear that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. Prayer does sometimes result in the realization of that for which one prays. If you have ever had the experience of receiving something for which you prayed, go back in your memory and recall your actual state of mind while you were praying, and you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. The method by which you may communicate with infinite intelligence is very similar to the way the vibration of sound is transmitted by radio waves. Sound cannot be transmitted through the atmosphere until it has been changed into a very high rate of vibration. The radio station takes the sound of the human voice and modifies it by stepping up the vibration millions of times. Only in this way can the energy of sound be sent over distances. After this transformation has taken place, the energy, which originally was in the form of vibrations of sound, is broadcast or transmitted as a radio signal. When a radio set receives the high-speed transmission, it then reconverts that energy back to its original slower rate of vibration. And when it is stepped down to its original rate, it vibrates the diaphragm of the speaker, which reproduces the original sound of the voice. The subconscious mind is the intermediary that translates prayers or desires into terms that infinite intelligence can receive. The answer comes back to you in the form of a definite plan or idea for procuring the object of your prayer. When you understand this principle, you know why mere words read from a prayer book cannot serve as an agency of communication between the mind of man and infinite intelligence. Do not expect troubles, as they have a tendency not to disappoint. Chapter 14. The Brain. A broadcasting and receiving station for thought. The 12th step toward riches. It was while I was working with the late Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Dr. Elmer R. Gates that I first proposed the idea that every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. In some way similar to the principle behind the operation of a radio receiver, every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations of thought that are being released by other brains. These are received as hunches and flashes of intuition. As was explained in previous chapters, it is your creative imagination that is the receiving set of your brain, which receives thoughts from your subconscious and, under certain circumstances, receives thoughts released by the brains of others. Your creative imagination is the interconnection between your conscious or reasoning mind and the four sources from which you receive thought stimuli. 1. Consciously from other people. 2. Your subconscious. 3. Subconsciously from other people. And 4. Infinite intelligence. When stimulated, or stepped up to a high rate of vibration, the mind becomes more receptive to thoughts that reach it from outside sources. This stepping up process takes place through either the positive emotions or the negative emotions. Through the emotions, the vibrations of thought may be increased. The brain that has been stimulated by emotions functions at a much more rapid rate than it does when that emotion is quieted or absent. The result is the increase of thought to such a pitch that the creative imagination becomes highly receptive to ideas. On the other hand, when the brain is functioning at a rapid rate, it also gives to your own thoughts the emotional feeling that is essential before those thoughts will be picked up and acted upon by your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain, through which vibrations of thought are broadcast. Autosuggestion is the medium by which you may put into operation your sending station. The creative imagination is the receiving set through which the energies of thought are picked up. Editor's comments. The following combines the above concept with the related materials from previous chapters to provide a step-by-step recap of Napoleon Hill's view of the process. 1. The brain is simultaneously both a broadcaster and a receiver. 2. Emotion affects both your ability to send and your ability to receive. When under the effect of strong emotion, the more powerfully you can send thoughts. When under the effect of strong emotion, the more receptive you are to receiving thoughts. 3. When you send thoughts, to where do you send them? You send them to your subconscious by using autosuggestion. 4. When you receive thoughts, where do they come from? They come from your subconscious and you receive them through your creative imagination. 5. Your subconscious mind has two aspects. Your subconscious is a storehouse of information, as explained in the previous chapter. Your subconscious is your connection to infinite intelligence. 6. Infinite intelligence is the medium through which you receive thoughts from other brains. Infinite intelligence is Hill's term for describing the following basic law of physics. Because everything in the universe is made of time, space, energy, or matter, and because matter is just energy in a different form, then everything is actually different parts of the same thing. This means that your subconscious mind, energy, has a common base with every other subconscious mind, energy. 7. Thoughts from other brains come to you as follows. When you are under the effect of a strong emotion and your receiver is especially receptive, sometimes its pull is so strong that it attracts a thought from the subconscious mind of another brain. It is able to do this because infinite intelligence interconnects your subconscious with the subconscious of the other brain. 8. These thoughts from other brains are what we refer to as intuition, hunches, déjà vu, and foreknowledge. Although Hill's explanation depends on the action of an intangible force that cannot be isolated and dissected in a laboratory, neither medical science nor psychology can offer a better explanation for those thoughts that depend on knowledge or information that we do not have. This is the end of the editor's comments. The greatest forces are intangible. In the past, we've depended too much on our physical senses and have limited our knowledge to physical things that we could see, touch, weigh, and measure. I believe we have entered the most marvelous of all ages, an age that will teach us more about the intangible forces of the world about us. Perhaps we shall learn that there is an other self that is more powerful than the physical self we see when we look in a mirror. Many people do not take seriously such intangibles, the things that they cannot perceive through any of their five senses. However, to belittle the idea of forces that are intangible or cannot be explained is to ignore the fact that all of us, every day, are controlled by forces that are unseen and intangible. The whole of mankind has not the power to cope with nor to control the intangible force wrapped up in the rolling waves of the oceans. We still do not fully understand the intangible force of gravity, which keeps this little Earth suspended in space and keeps us from falling from it, much less have the power to control that force. We are entirely subservient to the intangible force that comes with a thunderstorm, and we are just as helpless in the presence of the intangible force of electricity. We do not understand the intangible force and intelligence wrapped up in the soil of the earth.